He died just one day after showing a doll that's been blamed for fires, deaths, and disappearances. The paranormal world was shaken when Dan Rivera, a beloved investigator known for his fearless work with haunted objects, was found dead in a Gettysburg hotel room just hours after leading a tour featuring Annabelle, the most infamous doll in the world. This wasn't just any tour. It was sold out. Over 1,200 people attended. Dan was charismatic, laughing with fans, building Annabelle's protective case with his own hands, and even sharing spiritual tips passed down from Lorraine Warren herself, like surrounding yourself in a halo of white light. But then he was gone. The official cause of death? Still unknown. And while authorities say there was nothing suspicious, fans aren't convinced. Social media exploded with questions. Was it just a tragic coincidence? Or did Annabelle strike again? Today, we're diving into the life, death, and legacy of Dan Rivera, and the chilling events that led up to his final moments. Was this bad luck or something darker? Dan Rivera was more than just a ghost hunter. He was a man who had dedicated his life to uncovering what most people fear to even acknowledge. As the lead investigator for the New England Society for Psychic Research, NESPR, the same organization founded by the legendary Ed and Lorraine Warren, Dan became a bridge between the old guard of paranormal investigation and the digital age of modern mystery seekers. He wasn't just another name in the field. He was the real deal, known for his depth of knowledge, calm demeanor, and the quiet authority he carried into every haunted space. Before the ghosts, there was discipline. Dan was a U.S. Army veteran who brought his military precision into every investigation. That background shaped him, not just in how he approached the unknown, but in how he lived. Organized, methodical, and deeply protective. He carried a sense of duty both to the truth and to the people around him. But he wasn't cold. Far from it. Tributes from close friends, fellow investigators, and fans all described the same man, a devoted husband, a loving father, and someone who kept his family out of the spotlight with the same care he used to guard others from dangerous energies. His private life was just that, private, but those who knew him best speak of his loyalty, warmth, and unshakable faith in the work he did. Though rooted in serious spiritual and investigative traditions, Dan had a gift for communication. He became known to millions through viral TikToks where he answered questions, debunked wild rumors, like the time people thought Annabelle had escaped, and offered down-to-earth advice about how to protect oneself spiritually. He wasn't a man chasing clicks. He was educating the curious and warning the reckless. That mix of grounded wisdom and supernatural courage also led him to a major role on the Netflix series 28 Days Haunted, where his reputation only grew. Younger generations, who never knew the Warrens, now knew Dan Rivera, charismatic, fearless, and always respectful of the forces he worked with. But behind that calm presence was a man surrounded by darkness, literally. The Devils on the Run tour was more than a spectacle. It was a bold, chilling dive into the heart of America's most infamous hauntings. At its center stood a relic of dread, the real Annabelle Doll, the same one that had inspired nightmares and Hollywood blockbusters alike. For decades, stories swirled around this object. Fires breaking out after its arrival, people mysteriously injured or falling ill, and skeptics daring to mock it only to suffer bizarre consequences. But to Dan Rivera, Annabelle wasn't a sideshow. She was a powerful artifact deserving of respect, caution, and above all, spiritual protection. He even constructed the doll's travel case himself, stained with holy water and adorned with 3 crosses symbolizing the Holy Trinity, melding his Santeria knowledge with the teachings of his mentor, Lorraine Warren. The Gettysburg stop was a particularly charged one. The town, soaked in the blood of Civil War battles, is a hotspot for ghost activity. Paranormal enthusiasts and thrill seekers alike had descended on the historic site in droves. Over 1,260 tickets sold out quickly for the event, scheduled from July 11th to the 13th, 2025. Dan was in top form, smiling, cracking jokes, and engaging with attendees during the show. He emphasized spiritual safety, repeating Lorraine's old advice: imagine yourself surrounded by a halo of white light. For Dan, this wasn't just performance. It was protection. That night, everything appeared normal. Videos show him laughing, sharing insights, even taking time to ensure guests had a positive experience. But the next morning, that calm was shattered. Just hours after the event wrapped, Dan was found unresponsive in his Gettysburg hotel room. Emergency dispatch records show a CPR attempt was made sometime after 8 p.m., but it was too late. He was pronounced dead on July 13th, alone. Officials later confirmed that no suspicious circumstances were found. Annabelle, by all accounts, remained secured in the van parked just outside. The timing raised eyebrows. And the rumors? They came fast. The circumstances surrounding Dan Rivera's death remain as clouded as some of the haunted sites he explored. According to Adams County officials, there was no indication of foul play or suspicious activity. Dan had checked into his Gettysburg hotel as usual, just hours after hosting one of the most high-profile stops on the Devils on the Run tour. By all accounts, he had seemed healthy, energized, and in good spirits that night. His usual self, full of warmth, humor, and quiet authority. But sometime after the final event concluded, something went wrong. Emergency services were called to the scene shortly after 8 p.m. Reports from the Adams County Dispatch confirm that CPR was being performed on a man matching Dan's description. First responders arrived quickly, but there was nothing they could do. Dan was declared dead in his hotel room that evening. He was alone. The Annabelle Doll, the infamous focus of the tour, had been locked away in a van parked in the lot outside. The initial statements from the county coroner, Francis Dutrow, confirmed that no suspicious evidence had been found at the scene. No signs of a struggle, no obvious health crisis, and yet no answers either. An autopsy was conducted, but as of now, the results are still pending, delayed due to toxicology tests that can take up to 90 days. There were no visible medical red flags. No stroke, no heart attack, nothing that screamed out as a cause. Just a sudden silence where a vibrant life had been. For a man so steeped in the unexplained, the mystery surrounding his death struck a chilling chord. As news of Dan Rivera's sudden death spread, the internet ignited with theories. Was it coincidence, or was he cursed? Social media platforms lit up with speculation. Reddit threads, TikTok videos, and X posts flooded timelines with eerie questions. One user wrote, "I don't know why people are still playing with Annabelle," while another admitted they'd had a gut feeling that kept them from attending the final night of the tour. The timing was too strange, too close, too uncanny. This wasn't the first time Annabelle had caused a stir in the public eye. Just a few months earlier, in May 2025, viral rumors circulated online claiming the doll had gone missing from the Warrens' Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut. Panic and fascination spread fast. Videos claiming Annabelle had been spotted in Chicago or Louisiana racked up millions of views. But Dan himself had shut those rumors down with calm authority, posting a TikTok in which he walked through the museum and pointed directly to the doll, saying with a wry smile, "She's not in Chicago." Tony Spera, current director of the New England Society for Psychic Research and son-in-law to Ed and Lorraine Warren, also spoke out publicly to deny any escape or incident. According to NESPR, Annabelle had never left their care until the Devils on the Run tour, which marked one of the rare times she was brought out for public exhibition. That decision now sits under a heavy cloud. Some fans believe Dan was warned. Rumors swirled in private forums and comment sections. Claims that spiritual advisors or fellow investigators urged him not to remove Annabelle from her glass case, not to expose the public to her energy. Whether those warnings were real or imagined, the belief remains strong among many that Annabelle is more than an object, that she's a vessel, that she punishes those who mishandle her. And to some, Dan's sudden passing felt like proof. And it wasn't the first time this doll was blamed for tragedy. Ed and Lorraine Warren spent decades standing at the threshold between our world and something darker. As pioneers of paranormal investigation, they became known for confronting forces most people refuse to acknowledge. Their message was consistent and dire. The supernatural is real, and it is not to be trifled with. Of all the haunted artifacts they encountered, Annabelle was the one they warned about most. Lorraine herself once stated that even looking at the doll with mockery could invite disaster. The glass case at the Warrens' Occult Museum wasn't just a display, it was a barrier, a safeguard, the only thing keeping her in. Dan so deeply believed in, ensuring that his mission to educate and explore the paranormal does not end with his passing. And the show, strangely enough, will go on. The New England Society for Psychic Research has made it clear, despite the tragedy, the Devils on the Run tour will continue. They vow to honor Dan Rivera's memory by carrying forward the mission he believed in so passionately, bringing people together, sharing knowledge, and keeping the legacy of Ed and Lorraine Warren alive. Whether in Gettysburg, Rock Island, or future stops, his spirit will be woven into every event. But the mystery remains. The autopsy results could take up to 90 days, and until then, the cause of Dan's sudden death will remain unknown. Will those answers bring closure or only deepen the questions? The uncertainty fuels both hope and speculation, leaving fans divided between those who see it as a tragic coincidence and others who fear there was a far darker price to pay. What is undeniable is that Dan Rivera's story is far from over. It leaves behind more questions than answers, inviting all of us to wonder where the line between the natural and supernatural truly lies, and what sacrifices come with crossing it. He spent his life chasing the truth, exploring the unknown with courage and compassion, and just days ago, he may have found it. Whether it was fate, a tragic coincidence, or something far more sinister, one thing is clear: the legend of Annabelle has just claimed a new chapter. What do you think? Was Dan Rivera's death connected to the haunted doll? Or is this simply the unpredictable hand of life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because the story isn't over yet.